Here we got Milton and Carl, the Johnson boys here, and the reason for this visit here is none other than Smokey Sylvester's grave site here. And I'll just bring it up here. Fern P., I don't know what the P stands for, maybe Phyllis. She was born in 1920. Warren was born in 1911 and died 1991. And then on there they got this insignia here of his horses. He put these horses in the trees because he was quite a gentleman in the equestrian world and also in the woods growing up. So as we back, and it says Smokey on there, which was his name, and then we come back and we pick up the Johnson brothers here again. Milton lives in Denver and Carl lives in Amory. And in the background here we see old Pete Jensen's farm here that we used to walk around. And we go on the other side and we see the old Volga school where we used to raise all kinds of cane besides learning the R's and P's and Q's and what else the teacher was trying to choke down our throats. I don't know if we learned anything, but we must have. We turned out pretty good, as evident. There's evidence of what happens to a proper upbringing. Right. There you go.
Now it says receive. Okay, here we got Brother Milt Johnson here. We got Rey Lark here. And we have the John Hubert farm in the background here. And handsome guys, aren't they?
Who is this guy now?
This Milt Johnson here, the old brother of mine.
He is? Oh.
He is, yeah. He's
get. What do you get, huh? Well then, who is this guy then that's behind the camera? That must be my dad.
Yeah, how old are you now, Milt? About 75 or so?
Oh.
Anyway, we're in the Volga Cemetery looking out here. There's the old Wilberg farm in the background there.
Mr. Warren Sylvester.
What about Mr. Rey Lark?
Well, he's standing right alongside of Mr. Sylvester.
Well, don't he get in on the picture?
Oh, yeah, he's getting in on the picture, all right.
Oh,
but
well.
I think you're the star here now.
I'm the star.
You're the star.
Well, that's sure wonderful.
So, and we're located here in Amory, Wisconsin on the 5th, I believe, of September, 1988, to be correct, about 1:30 in the afternoon.
I guess that's right.
On a sunny afternoon. And a dry afternoon. Well, it's been raining
And a
lately.
cold afternoon.
And a cold afternoon.
Frost coming tonight.
Frost coming tonight, he said. So, how old does this put you now?
I'm 77.
You're 77 years old.
Yes.
Good. You look about 55.
I don't feel it.
You don't feel 55.
No, I don't.
How long have you lived on this place?
28 years.
28 years you've been here.
Yeah.
Okay. What we're going to do now, me and Warren are going to just ride around the country here in the local area here, and we're just going to talk about some of the farms that we're going to be looking at and sort of reminisce back through the years, who lived on them, how long, what their names were. Warren and I have known each other for, oh man.
What a while.
I guess I moved up here in 1925 and was 1 year old.
Well.
So I guess probably by the 1930s I knew who you were.
I think so.
Then I was around 6.
I think so.
So we'll just cut this off here now, and the next scene will appear inside the vehicle.
Okay. You see, Richard Fox folks lived down here on the corner.
Okay.
And George Armstrong was a brother-in-law, and his shack was back in the woods on the old tote road. When they put the roads on the line, old man Fox's father-in-law told him he would sell him 15 acres up here.
That's off of your property up here now?
Yes,
yeah?
off of this man's property.
Off of this man's property?
Yeah, so he bought 15 acres. Well, then when Richard was going to get married, he was going to build a house here. So he bought a half acre back.
Okay.
That's how come there's a jog there. Well, anyway, this Hubert I was telling you about had the back 40. He didn't like it in this country.
Okay.
He went west, and Johnny has the account of this from a newspaper in Bismarck.
Uh-huh.
And there was, got this from the early files, and John Hubert went to Bismarck, and he organized a buffalo hunting group, which consists of the hunter, the two skinners, and the cook.
Okay.
And he made money because he whacked up the proceeds equally with the cook and the two skinners.
Uh-huh.
And the paper of back in 1888 in Bismarck or whatever, that's when he went out there, whatever year it was, claimed that the old-timers claimed that credited him with killing more buffalo than Buffalo Bill.
Is that right?
Johnny has the account of that, and you should go and see it.
He does.
Yes, he does.
So this is all in heritage to Johnny Hubert.
Well, the back 40, not this.
Not this, the back 40th.
This old man Fox came here in 1867.
Okay.
Him and his Wayne's great-grandfather and Bushy's great-grandfather.
That
and,
Bushy Fox then?
Yeah, and Merlin
Yeah.
and Howard and all them.
Okay.
He settled over there, and the old fellow settled here. And old Dan Fox, his brother, was on our old place on County Trunk H.
Oh, really?
Yes, that was Dan Fox. Then his son was there.
Okay.
Then he left to homestead in Montana in 1913
Okay.
and sold out. Well, I guess there's nothing much more I can say about this. Armstrong built here, and he was here until, I suppose he died in the 20s. And Mrs. Armstrong lived on, and she rented it to Mike Summers. Mike was here a couple of years. And then old Walter Seekins came from Montana, and he was on it a year or so. And in 1930, Monty Fox came down from Iron Mountain and bought it. And he was here until 1960, when I bought it from him.
Uh-huh.
And that's the history of that.
Okay. And if we swing the camera just across the road here now, we'll pick up your daughter and son-in-law.
Well, that,
And that was built during our time, wasn't it?
oh yes, within 15 years ago.
Okay.
That was, see, I bought that 40 afterwards and got, they got acre and a half from me.
And here you have resided now since what year now? You
1960.
1960.
That's when I came here.
And how much land is it with this particular farm here now?
Well, first it was 55 acres, and then off that land there Wannabu had, there was an 80 laid there that belonged to Smith years ago.
Uh-huh.
Monty bought 20 acres.
Okay.
So then I bought this, so now it's 112 acres.
Okay. Okay. Now we're just traveling north now and going by.
Well,
And on the other side here now, that is your property at the moment.
not now.
Not now, huh?
Past the,
Oh, we passed the
Corner
line.
post,
I
yeah.
see.
see this, there was an 80 north and south here, belonged to Douglas Smith. Douglas Smith built the house that Roy Schaefer lived in. You remember that?
Yes.
And Douglas was a brother to Albert and Roy. And he had that house built in a little barn, and he broke 32 acres
On this property
on
here.
this 80.
Uh-huh.
Well, he died at 30 years old of cancer. So Smith, old man Smith, inherited it, you see. He had a
Okay.
sister that's 30 years old. She died of cancer in 1917.
Was there a house on this?
Yep. Sure, where Roy Schaefer lived.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Well, then, Monty bought this 20.
Uh-huh.
And Ed Anderson traded a 36 model Plymouth to Woodrow Wilson for 14 acres.
Up here
Where the house was.
on the north end up here.
Yes. No, in the middle.
Oh, in the middle.
Well, then Richard, Pat we call him, he got the balance. He got 20 acres here and 32 acres on the north. That's where the field was.
Uh-huh.
So it's split up, that 80, but that's the way it was.
Okay.
And this place across the road, I was to an auction there when I was 6 years old. Drove from down on the town line with Uncle George and Dad. There's Martin Knutson. That barn was new then. Martin Knutson, I don't know who he sold it to.
Oh, didn't Walford?
Yeah, I guess he sold it to Walford.
Okay.
Walford lived there, a long time
Yeah.
before he went on the Mitchell Pearson place. And Martin Knutson went down there across from Lars Hansen's on
Okay.
that 40.
And then that fellow from Rockford, Illinois. What was...
V. Reuben Johnson.
Yes,
He got it. Did he get it from Walford Carlson?
I believe so.
I believe so.
Sure.
V. Reuben Johnson.
That was a hilly farm.
Oh, and
It
Rocky.
was and rocky.
Well, I farmed it. I know.
Nice
But
house,
I've
though.
never seen a poor crop on it. Yeah, that's where old Roy Schaefer was.
This is the home now where Roy Schaefer lives.
Yeah, but not this house.
Not this house.
No, they cut that in two and made two houses of it and moved it into Amory.
Oh,
This was built by Glenn Griffin. Glenn lived here.
I see.
And then he died, and Chmielewski married the widow.
But
And they-
that was the area where the old
That's
house
the
stood,
area
though.
where the old house stood. And back in here was the field, 32 acres, I believe.
Okay.
And Fox had that.
What's this house for out
That was a shop.
there? Oh, it was.
Parker had a woodworking shop there.
Oh, I see. Okay. Now we're coming over the rise here, and we're going to look at the Volga Flats.
Yeah, you look at Volga Flat.
And this cemetery here belongs to the
Well, I don't know.
Fox people?
Well, the first one buried there was Clara Sylvester. Doc Sylvester owned that,
Really?
where that man is mowing.
Uh-huh.
So they buried her here on his property. And
That's how it started?
she drowned. And that fall, yeah, that's how it started. Then Frank and Lemoyne drowned that fall.
Huh.
Bob McClung is buried in the southeast corner, Father told me.
Yeah?
He was shot at Bear Trap. And there's more buried in there that I don't know. Nobody knows.
Huh.
Doc Sylvester owned it.
Doc Sylvester.
Yep.
How was he relative to you?
He
Doc?
was a cousin of my grandfather.
He was a cousin to your grandfather.
Yeah.
Okay. And as we did...
And then, I don't know how it come, but the first I knew of anybody here was Louis Christensen, Reuben Christensen's father.
On this place here?
Yes. He built the house. He built the barn. He built all the buildings. And I don't know how it happened, but he moved into town, and his son, Little Chris, lived here.
Uh-huh.
And about 1922, Louis or Chris, whoever owned it, sold it to Chris Summers, who was a brother to Louis Christensen, full brother,
Uh-huh.
come from Iowa in 1922.
Okay.
That's when those Summerses came here. And then they lost it. And a fellow by the name of Bert Larson lived there for 1 year.
Oh, really?
Big, heavy-set guy.
Yeah?
Sold machinery. And you should have remembered him.
Well,
And then after Bert Larson, I suppose Gus Isaacson.
yes, I remember him.
Yeah, Gus Isaacson came there
Okay.
and lived there until he died in 1960 in January. I believe it was in January. The auction was the 23rd day of March in 1960, and Monty's auction was the 26th day of March.
Now, this is just an 80, isn't it? 40 where the
yeah,
building
40
started?
there and 40 here. That's all it is.